Once upon a time, in a faraway village, there lived a family of 3 beautiful daughters. The youngest of these daughters was named Elle, which means gold. Her parents chose this name because they believed she was as precious as gold. However, because of her striking beauty, everyone in the village began to call her Mma, which means beauty. As Aledo grew, her beauty shone brighter and the nickname Mma stuck. It became so common that even her family began to call her Mma. Eventually, everyone forgot that her real name was Aledo. When Mma introduced herself, she used the name everyone knew her by. Mma, you are truly beautiful, like a rare gem, the villagers would say, admiring her. And so, Mma became her identity, known and admired by everyone in the village. Mma was not just beautiful. She was also kind-hearted and very talented at sewing clothes. As the youngest of 3 daughters, she looked up to her older siblings, Ifeoma and Adaobi, who were also very beautiful. Mma loved her family deeply and was proud of her sisters. However, as she grew older, she began to notice that the beauty alone did not guarantee happiness. Ifeoma and Adaobi had captivated the hearts of wealthy men who came from the city to marry them. However, their beauty, which seemed to be a blessing, turned out to be a double-edged sword. As Mma grew up, she witnessed her sisters' weddings, which were grand affairs filled with music, dancing, and promises of a bright future. The men who married Ifeoma and Adaobi had promised their parents that they would support the girls in furthering their education. But once they were married, these promises were broken. Ifeoma's husband, despite his wealth, was unfaithful and often left her feeling lonely and abandoned. Adaobi's husband, on the other hand, was abusive and constantly accused her of infidelity. Both sisters were trapped in their unhappy marriages, unable to live because they lacked skills or education to support themselves independently. One afternoon, Mma visited Ifeoma in the city. The mansion was beautiful, but the atmosphere inside was cold and sad. Ifeoma sat by the window, looking miserable. Mma, you have to be careful, Ifeoma warned, her voice trembling. Don't let our fate become yours. Beauty can attract the wrong kind of attention. Mma nodded solemnly, understanding the depth of her sister's despair. She then visited Adaobi, who had a bruise on her cheek from a recent beating. Why don't you leave him, Ada? Mma asked, tears welling in her eyes. I have nowhere to go, and I don't want to burden our parents. Besides, they rely on the money he sends them. Adaobi replied, her voice barely a whisper. Mma returned home from visiting her sisters in the city, her arms full of goodies. She had brought back gifts of clothes, food, and other items her sisters had given her. Her mother greeted her warmly as she entered their small, modest house in the village. Mma, you are back, she exclaimed, her eyes lighting up. What did you bring? Mma handed her mother the bags. Here, Mama. These are from Ifeoma and Adaobi. They wanted to make sure you have everything you need. Mma's mother began to unpack the bags, smiling at the contents. But Mma's heart was heavy. She couldn't hold back her feelings any longer. Mama, I need to talk to you, Mma said, her voice serious. She looked up, sensing the urgency in her daughter's tone. What is it, my child? Mma took a deep breath. Mama, Ifeoma and Adaobi are suffering. Ifeoma's husband cheats on her all the time. Her mother sighed and shook her head. Mma, you are still young. You do not understand marriage yet. When you grow up, you will see that a woman must be strong and endure her marriage, just like I have. Mma was confused. But Mama, why should they stay if they are unhappy? Mma's mother sat down and looked at Mma with a tired expression. Do you think I stay with your father because I am happy all the time? No, Mma. I stay because it is my duty as a wife and mother. We must be strong for our family. Mma felt a wave of sadness wash over her. But Mama, I don't want to live like that. I don't want to suffer like Ifeoma and Adaobi. She took Mma's hand gently. Mma, every woman has her struggles. Marriage is not always easy, but we must do what we can to keep our family together. Mma's eyes filled with tears. Mama, I promise you, I will not settle for a marriage like my sisters. I want to study, become a fashion designer, and make my own way in life. She looked at her daughter with a mix of pride and worry. You are smart, Mma. I hope your dreams come true. But remember, life is not always as simple as we wish it to be. Mma nodded, understanding her mother's words, but still resolute in her heart. She knew she had to follow her own path, no matter how difficult it might be. She hugged her mother tightly, feeling a deep love for her, but also a firm resolve to change her own destiny. Mma was walking home from school, chatting with her friends from high school. They were all in awe of her skill in needlework, praising her designs and talent. Mma, you are so talented. Everyone loves your clothes, said Chinyere, one of her friends. Thank you, Chinyere, Mma replied with a smile. I just love making beautiful things. As they were about to part ways, Mma turned to another friend, Amara. Amara, please remind your mother that I will finish her dress this weekend. She can come and collect it on Sunday. I will, Mma. Thank you so much, Amara responded cheerfully. They all waved goodbye, and Mma continued her journey home. As she walked down the dusty village road, a shiny luxury car drove past her, then suddenly reversed back. The window rolled down, and a well-dressed man called out to her. Hello there, beautiful. What's your name? The man asked, smiling. Mma stopped and looked at him, feeling uncomfortable. My name is Mma. What do you want? The man grinned. You are very beautiful, Mma. I like you. I want to get to know you better. Mma frowned and shook her head. Thank you, but I'm not interested. The man seemed surprised by her response, but didn't give up. He asked where she lived and drove to her house. When he arrived, he spoke to Mma's parents, telling them the same story her sister's husbands had told. I want to marry your daughter, the man said confidently. I will take her to the city and help her further her studies. She will have a good life with me. Mma's parents were excited and tried to convince her. Mma, this is a good opportunity for you. He's a wealthy man and he will take care of you. But Mma was firm. No, Mama, Papa, I do not want to marry him. I want to continue my studies and become a fashion designer. Despite her parents' attempts to persuade her, Mma refused the man's proposal. Over time, many other suitors came, each promising her heaven and earth, but Mma turned them all down. At the end of the year, the results from her school exams were announced. Mma was nervous but hopeful as she went to check her results. When she saw her scores, she was overjoyed. She had passed with flying colors, and her dream of going to college to study fashion designing was within reach. She ran home to share the good news with her parents. "Mama, Papa, I did it! I passed my exams with high marks. I can go to college now." Her parents were proud and happy for her. "We are so proud of you, Ma. You have worked so hard, and now you will achieve your dreams." Ma journeyed to the city to study fashion design with the money she had saved from sewing clothes for her villagers. Her sister Adobe also helped her pay for college for the whole year. When Umma arrived in the city, she stayed with Adobe since Adobe's house was closer to the college. On Umma's first day at college, she attracted a lot of attention. Her beauty and the stylish clothes she had designed for herself made her stand out. Everyone, including the lecturers, noticed her. A group of ladies often came up to her to compliment her outfits. "Wow, your dress is amazing. Did you make it yourself?" one of the girls asked. "Yes, I did," Ma replied with a smile. "You are so talented and beautiful," another girl said, and everyone nodded in agreement. When Ma walked through the college, people stared at her, admiring her beauty and talent. That first week was very exciting for her. Many girls wanted to be her friend, and they would wave at her from a distance or call out, "How are you, Ma?" They would even ignore whoever she was working with just to get her attention. Ma received a lot of attention from the guys too. Even guys from other faculties would hang around Umma's faculty just to talk to her or ask if they could buy her lunch. "Hi, Umma. Would you like to have lunch with me today?" one of the boys asked. "Thank you, but I already have plans," Umma would reply politely. Despite all the attention, Umma was unsure who truly liked her for who she was. She felt that people were drawn to her looks rather than her personality. After the first week of classes, Umma was due to move into the college residence. That Friday, after her classes, she went back to Adobe's house. She could hear Adobe and her husband arguing, which made her very upset. On that night, Umma took her niece's old ribbon doll and started sewing a mask to cover her face. The doll was small, so she had to put many pieces together, resulting in a lot of stitches. Umma didn't care about the appearance of the mask. She just needed something to cover her face. She used the silicone texture of the doll, which felt like real skin but looked hideous. On Sunday night, Adobe drove Umma to the residence where she would stay. They hugged and said goodbye. "I will come to visit you whenever I can, okay? Study hard," Adobe said to Umma. Umma was alone in the residence because her roommate had not yet moved in. On Monday, Umma went to school wearing her face mask. No one recognized her as Umma. As soon as she reached the academic area, everyone was whispering and laughing. "What is that?" someone said. Umma went to the friends she had made during the first week and told them, "It's me, Umma." They laughed scornfully. "Do you think you can ever look as beautiful as Umma?" they mocked. "Don't look our way." In class, everyone started asking, "Where is Umma today?" Even the lecturers who admired her beauty asked, but no one knew. The first day of the week was very long for Umma. Students from other halls came just to see her. No one wanted to be seen hanging out with her. During breaks, Umma was like a museum exhibit. Everyone came to watch her, but Umma didn't care. She was used to being famous for her beauty, and now she was getting used to being noticed for her ugliness.